and we move at light speed. Last of a dying breed, my Akis move at light speed.
I can feel eyes on me everywhere I go. Not paranoid or conceited, but
chemtrail clouds on sleep though. Acid rain down on sleep though. Fluoride water on sleep though. New world order on sleep though. Diabetes soda on sleep though. Clone and modified beef though. Heavy metals all in drink though. Wi-Fi cook a nigga in the sleep though. Put him in the cup, put him in it. Put him in it, put him in it, put him in the cup. Put him in the cup, put him in it. Put him in it, put him in it, put him in it. Put him in the cup, put him in it. Put him in it, put him in it, put him in it. Put him in the cup, put him in it. Put him in it, put him in it, put him in it. Put him in it. Fame a cougher. Yeah. I'm people watching. Yeah. Count sheet. Yeah. Nigga sleepwalking. All these dead riders. Well, it rain about it. Laws ain't talking about shit. But baby mama. You don't wanna stir the pot, you don't wanna detox, you don't sleep though. You ever heard about Skiat? You don't want a Tupac, you want love and hip hop, I don't sleep though. Cops taking cheap shots all week though. False flag headlines all week though. Chalk outline on the street though. I'm just trying to make it out of one piece though. I'm sleep though. Clone politicians on sleep though. Earth let it fuck, I'm sleep though. Geoengineering, I'm sleep though. Diabetes soda, I'm sleep though. New world order, I'm sleep though. Clone and modified beef though. Wi-Fi cook a nigga in the sleep though. Put him in it. Put him in it, 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 put him in it. I'm sleep though. Feds follow nigga in street clothes. Hoes ain't sticking to the G code. Suck a nigga dick if people charge me though. I'm sleep though. Click, clack, bang, bang, and reload. Oh, set a nigga up for the kilo. I leave. Maybe I'm crazy, no CeeLo. I'm sleep though. Deep underground ETs though. Burning Mac, man, soul, rest in peace though. Found Make 28, well, we know. Nigga, what you talking about? Talk is talk, and do is do shit people talk about. Nothing to argue about. How must I remind you, I don't wear designer, no genre attire. Monsanto was all up inside your vagina, tampons, panty liners, yeah. Gender blur got the kids all confused. Teaching sex ed in preschool. Designer babies in the womb. Stars shining through the moon. But I'm sleep though. Chemtrail clouds, I'm sleep though. Fluoride water, I'm sleep though. Acid rain down, I'm sleep though. Diabetes soda, I'm sleep though. New world order, I'm sleep though. Clone and modified beef though. Wi-Fi cook a nigga in the sleep though. Put him in it, 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 put him in it.
Uncle Merchant, I was just scared as hell. You was driving for forever. Look me in my eyes, that nigga, you gonna die. The fuck? Mama, come here. Mama, come here. Hurry up. Check it out. Fuck the world, mama. Suck the dick.
That command and speech. I'm tired of whack motherfuckers rapping flaccidly. They say the earth is photoshopped because it has to be. I see the zealots calling flat earth blasphemy, saying it's an anti-science catastrophe, repeating talking points oh so casual.
Alright, one of the things I want to show with this is, now, as we've seen, there was a catastrophe. And it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what happened, what went wrong. But to just believe that such a small civilization, I mean, this picture here is wild alone. See, with this guy right here, he went up in the hot air balloons and took pictures. See how big these roads are? And then the houses. You see how everything is like cratered? See how there's wall and then there's water? Like the water can just fill this up at any time, as if like something cratered the ground or came out of the ground. Because that's what I think. I think stuff comes out of the ground. Some things drop, some things come out. I believe this is a picture of Boston before. This could be somewhere else. Where is this? San Francisco. Okay, this is San Francisco. The other one is a photograph this guy did of Boston. And all these places were destroyed. See how that land is? Like a foot. Looks like a big foot or something. Or if you turn it the other direction. Or hand, or maybe a big head. But look at these roads. You know, you see them go off into the distance, and it's not, they're not getting smaller, are they? It's not getting smaller. Look at that massive building right there. Not to mention these things. You'll find these in a lot of the old cities that were destroyed. These large towers, I believe, are power ports. When you find the one structures, the dome structures, those were like that one is like the power plant. You notice there's not much smoke coming up, right? Not a lot of factory smoke, but then again, this is a port. There's factories all over this place. Where's all the smoke? Not to mention this stuff's pretty large, and there looks to be like a UFO, I suppose, right there, moving very fast from the ground going up. Not to mention the large, I mean, you can see from the, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on right there on the right. That's pretty wild, ain't it? I mean, even the water, that shit's wild. Like, is this What is this photograph of, really? Because there's definitely some stuff going on in the skies. Looks like things falling from the sky, to tell you the truth, over here. A lot of these black dots look like they're falling. They have trails behind them. That could be in the water, but then again, you kind of see them up here. And don't these skies look a little familiar? There's a track right there, it looks like. See, I believe that the old cities had the knowledge that I have, the stuff in my book about the spirit world and stuff like that. I believe it was no knowledge. And people like me that can actually see this stuff and see it in the land, we weren't average Joes, I can tell you that.
In 1853, they jumped at the chance to support a New York City minister's idea, an early version of foster care that would find homes for the city's orphans on farms in the Midwest.
They were told, your parents are not your parents, your past is not your past, your life begins when you are chosen. The orphan trains began because a Methodist minister in New York City named Charles Loring Brace looked around the streets of New York and saw that there were 30,000 children living on the streets. They were getting run over, dying of starvation and exposure, going to jail, becoming criminals, they were becoming prostitutes. What we think of as Dickensian London is really what it was like then for poor people. Immigrants were pouring in. The Industrial Revolution was replacing jobs for poor people with machines. The Civil War was raging and creating vulnerable war widows. So there are many reasons that there were all these children on the streets. And Brace had this idea, it was sort of a glorified fresh air fund. He thought, if I can get children off the streets and send them to farms in the Midwest where labor is needed, maybe we can save their lives.
50 pictures that are shocking for your intellect. Of course, starting with this giant sword. Now, what kind of giant humans would use this kind of sword? I mean, connection between the body, the physical body, and the mother, right? As above, so below, and then the human body and the spiritual body, I guess. So anyway, a wonderful silver cord picture. So yeah, silver cord, umbilical cord, interesting. As the umbilical cord can connect an unborn baby to the placenta, so does the silver, I guess. But Gulliver travels. The world is full of secrets. Then you have giant doors. Now, everybody knows that humanity was reset and that these humans and their parents and grandparents are not the builders of these giant doors made out of giant stone with people in public because they just think you're crazy, and that's it. Another story. So this one, of course, this statue and this building was not built by this humanity. It was there beforehand, and obviously this is a power station for the use of ether energy from the atmosphere, and this huge statue again was built by a different humanity. These are not ornaments. These are like, and all these buildings, they are not built by this humanity. They're from the previous humanity. These are like just the newcomers who inherited all this because of force. And these things are also used for getting the energy, the ether energy, which is infinite, free, no money to be paid for, from the atmosphere and the ionosphere. So yeah, everybody knows. By the United States. The United States was a country which was created artificially, and in the Americas there was this different humanity which was all across the world, and these humans here are the new humans. So their grandparents did not build these things, and the whole history of the US is fake as well, and of the world. So yeah, experimental expositions, right? And then they were just like destroyed. Yeah. Whoever believes that, they still live in Candyland. And check this out, like the technology, the primitive technology here with the horses and the carriages, these type of humans do not build these type of buildings. No way. So here again, huge, tremendous, impressive, amazing. These people are not the builders of such a supreme awesomeness creation of civilization. Again here, so they be like antennas for the use of electromagnetic energy from the ether. And then this again, this is not a cathedral, it's nothing to do with religion. This is a power station for the use. It's gigantically huge, amazing, impressive, and the symmetry and the rose window and everything. So yeah, nothing to do with religion or God. This is a power station. But of course, you cannot argue with the indoctrinated humans. Here you have people enjoying their day at the sea, and then you have here the electromagnetic power station as well, built by the previous humanity. Probably doesn't even exist anymore. So yeah, and this is the same as in India. We're exploiting the earth at a much higher rate, right? So it's the same principle. It's just this is our humanity doing, and this is the previous humanity. That's why it's called a volcano. It's so giant in here. So all the volcanoes in the world are just mining piles of shitcrap from the exploitation of. Again, how do you do this by hand? Impossible. This was done with technology by the previous humanity, so it's impossible. Engineering to actually build something similar to what the previous humanity had. And this is like electric energy from the ether. So these antennas, they get the energy from the air, and the light bulb goes on. That's proper Tesla technology, which also comes from a different place. And then this is the crater Earth we live in, and then you have the summer gate somewhere here, where you go outside of this crater, beyond the ice walls, and you get to different continents and other waters and stuff, and then so on and so on. So it's, the world outside of these boundaries is full of other worlds and continents and waters and civilizations, and they're monitoring us, and they see everything we do. So yeah, probably maybe they're even maybe those guys who are here, they're just like more advanced humans, or maybe they are the humans who created humanity in this crater. Who knows? But yeah, that's fascinating, and definitely this is more logical, way more logical than living on a globe spinning in space. Uncle Sam, this is the Watch Palace and the World Fair in San Francisco, California. That's definitely a powerful technology, nothing to do with what you learn in school. And then who built this, what technologies they use, when, what time period, how do you build this, no clue. And then the electromagnetic energy, and this was not built by like normal humans, it was there beforehand. And this again is a building from the previous humanity, nothing to do with and of course, there's no trouble with the lack of oxygen because you're in space, and it's okay. You can just unzip it, and the oxygen goes outside here, and then your stuff comes outside of there as well, and you just do your stuff. And yeah, there you go, the hero car. So again, who the heck is able to as in sickness, they just seem to be giants. This is the Hugo family, so check out the gigantic supreme power of these guys. And then again here, you see these people and they look like children compared to these. Maybe these are like the last remnants of the previous humanity that was here before.